When it comes to building your very first Hydra team, having a powerful provoke champion on the squad that can deal with the Head of Decay is an absolute must. So in this video, we're going to be covering, first of all, legendary champs, but then epics as well. And are most importantly, accessible, right? They're quite easy to get your hands on, relative to other champs in Raid Shadow Legends, that can do an incredible job landing those all-important provoke debuffs. And honestly, there's no better place to start for me than Vizix the Unbowed, one of the most underrated champs in the game. It's looking a little bit better since the review resets recently, but she's just insanely good. She's of course a free login reward champion. And so if you're still struggling at Hydra, 270 days into your raid adventure, then Vizix is going to do an incredible job for you on your account. Not just in the Hydra, but honestly everywhere. Double hitter A1 with a whole bunch of 10-meter steel on this A1. Very nice into just many areas of the game. She also brings some crucial debuffs into Hydra as well, with the decreased speed on an AoE on the A2. Decreased speed debuff on all of the Hydra heads is a huge deal, so she checks that box as well. And she also brings Ally Protect, meaning you need to build her to be an absolutely... Dude, she needs to be a tank, right? A literal tank. We're talking a mammoth tank, right? In order to survive through the damage that's going to be pouring into harder difficulties of Hydra. But the Ally Protect is going to help bolster your team's survivability. Most importantly, though, she brings the provoke debuff on the 310 cooldown on the A3 and also places a shield buff on herself as well. So she just checks a lot of boxes for Hydra progression and is by far the most accessible legendary that you're going to be able to grab to help you progress in Hydra if you're still struggling at that later stage in your account. And you know who isn't going to be able to help you out into Hydra? Good old Karato Fox Hunter. His kit just isn't very good there, but it's kind of good everywhere else. Sucker's got a triple hit at A1 with a chance to place Weaken. He brings a stun on the A2 and a block active skills debuff on the A3 on an AoE as well, man. Solid into Arena, not bad into Chimera as well. And you can get Karato Fox Hunter completely for free simply by signing up to Raid using my beginner promo link down below, man, at the top of the video description box. Use that link to create a new account. You get yourself 4 free champions, including 3 additional epic champs, actually, after Karato, as you level up your account, man. Best beginner promo link going. Now, back to the legendaries that are actually great into Chimera. We, of course, have good old Drexthar Blood Twin, which is... he's a little bit of a pain to get your hands on, but you just got to play the game consistently, and it shouldn't be too rough. If you pan on into your market building and then head into your bazaar over here, then you will be able to buy Drexthar Blood Twin fragments if you haven't purchased them already. You can only buy 1 every 24 hours, and so you have to play the game consistently, and you have to be farming these gold bars in Tag Arena. But I'd highly recommend that you just maximally prioritize buying your Drexthar fragments from Tag Arena as early as possible as you can in your raid career. I got them quite late on my main account. I'm doing a better job of getting on top of that on my current free-to-play. Drexthar, man, what does he bring to the table? Well, first of all, his passive, man. He's got himself a 75% chance when booked of placing HP burn debuff for 2 turns on the attacker when hit. Great into Hydra, of course. Hydra's throwing out AoE attacks all the time. You're spreading this HP burn like crazy, deals great damage to the boss, and also if the boss happens to get up the Poison Cloud buff, which turns all of your hits into weak hits, if you have an HP burn debuff up on the Hydra, then the Poison Cloud doesn't do a goddamn thing, right? You just attack on through the Poison Cloud as normal. So it's a great key debuff to be bringing into Hydra. He brings a triple hit at A1 with a chance of placing HP burn. Quite low, but, you know, not bad. And then on the A2, he brings the provoke that we're looking for. 310 cooldown bucked. Attack all enemies, 60% chance of placing provoke for 110. However, this chance increases to 100% if the target is burning. And yeah, also places decreased attack if the provoke is placed as well. So a nice little bonus there too. You will have to have your Drexthar running quite quick in the team. Good accuracy and with quite good speeds to ensure that, you know, he's being speed boosted up enough that he's getting off this provoke quite reliably and quite often throughout the fight. Because yeah, it is a 310 cooldown, only 110 duration. He's got to be running quite fast, but Drexthar, an amazing option. And next up, man, an option that's technically free, kind of, to get your hands on. We got to touch on Morley Tankard, at least. I don't think I've ever covered this champ in a video before because, yeah, you can get her for free by saving up enough tokens by sacrificing duplicate legendaries in your Guardian ring. Like, I don't know, man. Does that even count as free? Like, if you're going to get Morley Tankard on a free-to-play account, hats off to you, man, because that's crazy as hell. But she's a great provoker. She's technically free. We'll touch on her real quick, man. She brings the provoke. Only requires 1 skill book as well on the A2. It also has a chance of placing the provoke debuff for 2 turns instead, which is lovely. Also placed reflect damage buff on herself. And she also brings a revive, which is kind of wacky, but she brings a revive. So she brings the revive and the provoke into Hydra. Interesting stuff. It's bookable down to a 410 cooldown, revives one ally, fills their 10 meter, and places block damage buff on them for 110. She's an interesting little ginger, man. I'll give her that much at least. Is she free to play? In the most technical sense possible. Not really budget, but we'll shout her out anyway. Next up, we're going to go into the epic champions. Bit more accessible here. I think Skuramis is probably... You're probably looking at like one of the better epic champion, epic quality provokers that you might just build out anywhere in the early game on your account because he's such a good wave controller, but he also does bring the provoke into Hydra as well. He's quite a unique one, man. So his A3, 310 cooldown, 100% land rate provoke debuff on all enemies for 110 when fully booked up at least. Also buffs himself up with counterattack and continuous heal for a couple of turns as well. Now this means that your Skuramis is going to draw the aggro of the Head of Mischief, and the Head of Mischief is going to attempt to attack into your Skuramis and steal these buffs and then spread them to all of the other Hydra heads. So you got to have a good reliable block buffs debuffer champ on your team to at least stop the Head of Mischief from like getting those buffs itself and spreading them, right? That's like a small caveat. Well, it's a huge caveat, actually. What am I talking about? A block buffs champion is essential, in my view, for getting started in even the easiest difficulties of Hydra. But this does also open up the door for Skuramis to get further use into Hydra once your account is more developed. You can build out your Skuramis, as long as you've still got good accuracy, good survivability, that kind of thing, good defense stats. You can build them out with very, very high resistance stats, somewhere in the region of like 450 resistance or something. 500-ish even, depends on difficulty, but you can make it so that he always attracts the attention and the aggro of the Head of Mischief and build him as a Mischief tank. And as long as you can hit those stat checks and have him resisting the Head of Mischief's attempts to steal the buffs, then all of a sudden he's doing multiple jobs in one, right? He's stopping the Head of Mischief from, you know, stealing the buffs from other random members of your team and stuff like that, and he has that extra utility as well. He's also just a great early game champion to build out anywhere. Brings some 10 meter depletion and a stun on his A1, as well as an attack all enemies A2 with a chance of placing decrease attack debuff as well. So, yeah, just a good all-round Giga Chad to build out. I mean, look at him, dude. Absolute Stormcast Eternal over here. Just looking glorious as all hell, and he was worth kind of breaking him down a little bit more, I think, because he's a bit of a special case. Next up for epics, I almost want to give Giscard a little bit of a shout out. Is he a great Hydra champion? Not really, but if you've never got like the first chest from normal mode Hydra before, and you've got him on your account as a provoker, he's a great early game champion. Maybe you built him out anyway, and he does at least bring a 310 cooldown provoke with a 75% land rate. It's not the best, okay, not the most reliable, but if you're just trying to get the easiest chests in Hydra for the first time, I think Giscard brings enough to the table, as long as that first provoke lands, of course, that he might be worth bringing along. He does also bring all kinds of buffs as well, increased defense, increased attack on a 310 on his A2, so he brings a little bit of that extra utility, and if you've already leveled him up to 60 anyway, for use on your early game account, he might be able to do a job for you, much like other 310 provoke champions on your account when you're just getting started into Hydra. What you're really looking for, of course, is 100% land rate provoke. It needs to be as reliable as possible. Another champ that doesn't bring 100% land rate provoke is Husk, but he brings something else to the table as well. Husk, again, very, very powerful wave controller champ, great against most bosses in the game because of his A2, but we'll get to that in just a second. He does also bring a double hitter on his A1 with is that 40% chance of placing provoke on each hit for his A1, so again, not mega reliable, but if you're building Husk anyway as a damage dealer into Hydra, he can get you started into the easiest levels of Hydra at least, and just get you farming those early chests, which are so important to just start collecting Mithrala fragments. And so even if you can only hit the easiest chest, it's a big deal. You might, of course, you're going to need to manual your fights sometimes as well to prioritize using this A1 correctly and at the correct times to keep the Head of Decay provoked as much as you can. But on his A2, I mean, you're mostly building him as a damage dealer, and his ability to provoke is kind of secondary, but he's got attack all enemies, chance to place stun, 410 cooldown. The damage, though, is based on enemy max HP on his A2, which just makes him hit like a bit of a truck. You know, he hits like a goddamn landslide. And the harder difficulty of Hydra you're going into, he's just going to do more damage because it scales based on enemy max HP, and of course it has a cap to it and all of that, and all those caveats, but he's just a great Hydra damage dealer to get you started anyway into like normal and hard Hydra. Provoke, bit of a bonus. Next up, and we are increasingly scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit, but we got to put some respect on this champion, man. This champion is solid. Love this guy. I've already 6-starred him on my free-to-play account it's good old Master Butcher, man. First rare champion of the list. And honestly, like, I'm going to be in this position very, very soon on my free-to-play account where this guy is my only good, like, reliable Provoker champion on the entire free-to-play. He actually plays a Provoke debuff on his A2 that lasts on a single target, albeit, but whatever. It lasts for 2 turns, dude. And because he places the Provoke, it means he can't weak hit with this skill, so it doesn't matter if if like the Poison Cloud buff is up or whatever on the Hydra heads, or he's weak hitting into negative affinity. It doesn't matter, he's just going to get the 2-turn Provoke debuff up. And if you just need that debuff to get your team clearing the easiest stages of Hydra for the first time, then Master Butcher might just be your man. Why did I actually build him out on my free-to-play account? It wasn't for Hydra. Does he also bring Provoke as well? Yeah, he has a small chance of placing Provoke on the A1 too. Just kind of crazy, dude. Like, the guy's kind of popping, man. Don't underestimate this little guy. Yeah, on his passive though, this is why I actually built him on the free-to-play and why you might want to build him as well. When attacked, heals all allies equal to the amount of damage taken, bookable down to a 110 cooldown, and while it does not work against bosses, it does work against the bombs that Bommel the Dreadhorn drops. And so, as long as Master Butcher has the most health on your team, whenever one of the bombs goes off against Bommel Dreadhorn in Doom Tower, he just heals all of that damage back and then more, right? He's great for keeping your team alive against Bommel in the Doom Tower. Now, other provokers that we're gonna turn to at this point, like scraping the bottom of the barrel doesn't even really cut it. Like, this is just desperation plays. We're just scraping the mud and the grit that's like underneath the barrel at this point with these guys. Because, man, am I really gonna spotlight Jizzle, dude? I don't know about this, man. Bloody Jizzle. Look at this guy. Not a very good champion. Not a very good champ. I think that you get him for free, just as like a login reward when there's not like a current like Alice event going on and stuff. Pretty sure you just get Jizzle for free. But he does bring at least a 2-turn duration Provoke, right? It's an attack 1 enemy, so it can weak hit. He doesn't just place the Provoke, you know. You've also got to book him up to get it up to 100% land rate, but it's 100% land rate, 2-turn Provoke. It's fine. You know, it's fine. He's kind of like a Master Butcher that requires epic skill tomes and doesn't really get much use outside of getting you started in Hydra, you know. I wouldn't really recommend building this guy unless you're super, super desperate. Yeah, this is the problem with this A2 as well. It's a 5 stonking turn cooldown. I don't know what the hell Plarium was smoking when they picked the cooldown for this. Not even bookable down either. It's just stuck at 5 turns. Place a shield buff for 3 turns and a counterattack buff for 2 turns on 1 ally. What? Grants an extra turn. Okay, so it's technically a 4-turn cooldown. The value of the shield is proportional to this champion's defense, which who the hell knows what that means, you know? But it's just shielding 1 ally, man. Oh god, he's such a dated epic, you know? I feel like if they just buffed up his A2 and stuff, he'd actually be like a reasonable starter champion to get you started into Hydra. Whereas right now, just a more expensive and more useless Master Butcher in my book. And for our final pick, I'm going to go ahead and make a point with another legendary champion that you could have got your hands on, but you probably didn't, man. It's good old Volkeeper Wixwell. Maybe you have got your hands on him. And you know what? Not just Volkeeper Wixwell, but Bevald of the Thorn. Why am I touching on both these guys? These are both fusion legendaries. Now, I'd highly, highly recommend that if you are in the early game of Raid and you're thinking about setting up a Hydra team and you need a good provoker to really help get you started, keep an eye out, man, on the monthly fusions. Stay prepared, right? Try and sit on like at least 5 sacred shards. Like if you're close to getting to a fusion, just be mindful of how many resources you need to get a fusion done, and try and stay near to that. Like, have them somewhat in the bank so you're ready to do maybe your first fusion on your account or whatever. And be very, very decided and specific about what fusion you go for, man. Because having a champ like Bivald of the Thorn on your account, many like attack all enemies, shields your whole team, places provoke, places leech debuffs, blah 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 blah, all on a 310 cooldown on his A2. Also places provoke on his A1. Just a great legendary provoker that if you were around for the Bivald fusion, he probably did a hell of a lot of work for you getting you started into Hydra. If you did the Wixwell fusion, like I did when my account was still quite early game, my main account, this guy completely revolutionized my account, man. And yeah, the point is, just keep an eye on the monthly fusions, stay up to date with what champ is coming about. I do my best to report on what champs are coming in monthly fusions on this channel as well, so stay tuned for that. We should be getting news about the February fusion any day now, to be honest, so definitely stay tuned for that. If it's a provoker, you best believe I'm going for it on my free-to-play account. And yeah, these fusion legendaries, they can be tough to get your hands on, but not impossible if you know how to plan ahead for these fusions, man. So I'll close with that. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it here. I swear tomorrow we're going to be back to longer form videos. All these short videos on the channel recently, man. Ooh, I'm not enjoying it, man. We're going to get back to some longer videos. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you all did enjoy this one, though. And I really hope that you do enjoy the rest of your night. Make sure to remember to use my good old beginner promo link if you're looking to start off a new raid account anytime soon. That link can be found down below at the top of the video description box. Hit that link, use it to make a new account for the best start possible in Raid Shadow Legends. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to catch all of you all just a tad bit later, man.